Welcome to the Alcohol Addiction Podcast. My name is Lee Davey. I'm not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. This is episode 152. It's going to be a very brief one. We're going to talk about the friend. If you're watching this on a video right now, it's looking quite triangular, right? I'm in my attic at the moment. As always, there's no expenses spared with the Alcohol Addiction Podcast. Yes, I'm sat on a rickety chair. I've got two boxes which the laptop is on. And I'm up here because my baby is downstairs screaming her head off. Oh, man. Yeah, one day I'll get professional. I guarantee you. I'll be like Sam Harris with my own studio somewhere. I wanted to start out by saying well done to Glynis. Glynis is currently... we're not finishing, but she's midway through the Truth About Alcohol life-changing experience, and Glynis is celebrating 1 month alcohol-free. Well done, Glynis. She's doing some really great work there, and she's actually flying solo. Everybody else who was taking the experience with Glynis has left the party, so Glynis is on her own, which is even more difficult. You would think that it's better because you get to, you get the moderator's full-on attention and the hugs and kisses and stuff, but it's always better to do this work in a peer group because you get so much more interaction and reflection from other people. So well done on Glynis, and well done in general to Group 9, Group 8. What we got now? We've got Group 7, Group 8 and Group 9. Well done, I want to say. Group 9 is the last one. We're never going to run Truth About Alcohol, that life-changing experience in that format again. And I'll tell you why right now before I eke into our episode on a friend. Okay, this is what's going to happen from now on at the Truth About Alcohol, okay? The Strive Community Forum, as you know it, has ceased to exist as a public forum, okay? It doesn't exist. You cannot join Strive right now. If you went to Strive and tried to join up, it wouldn't let you. So that isn't happening, okay? But Strive still exists as a community. There's about 37 to 40 people on there. Right, who are those people? Right, this is what I've done. The moderators, the Truth About Alcohol moderators, people who came to Strive and Truth About Alcohol, struggling with their addiction to alcohol, who went through the Truth About Alcohol life-changing experience, became people who don't drink alcohol, and then did some training and took the deep dive to become moderator. They are now a part of the Strive movement, all right? They're part of the Strive movement, okay? Free of charge, okay? Because they've done the work, they deserve it. Anybody that paid me £10 a month to receive the Alcohol Monologues video, but more importantly, paid me that £10 a month because they were getting... though they were feeling that they were getting value out of my work, particularly the Alcohol Addiction Podcast, okay? I have given those people free entry into the Strive movement as well for a year, and we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? Anybody who has taken the life-changing experience before, whether they finished it or not, other than those that asked to leave and to be deleted from the system, or I banned them for whatever reason, they now have a year's subscription to the new Strive movement. And then there's a core group of people who I believe personally have made a really good solid contribution to Strive without joining any of the experiences outside of that. People who've been regularly checking in, helping other people, that kind of thing. There's a group of those who I have reached out to, donors within the poker industry, and they have paid for this group of people to move into the new Strive movement, okay? So that's where these 37 people have come from. How are we going to add to those 37? Well, this is how it's going to work moving forward. We're going to have two separate experiences of the Truth About Alcohol. The first one is going to run every single month, okay? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. And the first experience is running now in October. And it is called the Truth About Alcohol Taster, okay? Learning how to go alcohol free for a month. And the reason I created this is because I realized that most people want to moderate alcohol. They don't want to stop drinking alcohol because the fear of stopping drinking alcohol permanently is too much to bear. The resistance is too strong, okay? And this is why Alan Carr, In his book, The Easy Way to Control Alcohol, has the word control. This is why Annie Grace in her book has control. This is why 1 Year No Beer has systems in place to help people control or moderately drink or drink sensibly. Club Soda, I think, does something similar. Hello Sunday Morning encourages healthy drinking of the sort. And I always knew at the Truth About Alcohol, when I made the decision to just only help people who were completely abstaining, that I was creating a micro niche within a niche, okay? I always knew that there'd only be a few of us, and that my goal to create a movement of millions of people who do not drink alcohol would be a tough one. I always knew that, okay? But the lack of numbers coming forward was a little bit startling to me. So I've created the taster, so people who are a bit unsure about what they want to do can jump on board for a month. It's 50 quid, all right? It's 50 quid. You jump on board for a month, and you can work within a peer group of other like-minded people, privately in a small group, where I will release one video a day for 28 days, I think it is, which gives you a taster about what the intensive is all about. So we cover what is the truth about alcohol, we raise awareness of that truth, and we explain a little bit about what life will be like when you stop drinking. And we cover that in a watered down version of the intensive, okay? I say watered down, it doesn't really do it justice. It's still a fantastic, fantastic experience, but it gives you a little insight about what we're all about in the intensive experience, which I'll talk about in a bit. And currently there are 4 people, I think, on the October group, and we're going to run one every single month. So starting this week, every Thursday night, I'm going to be running a webinar, and that webinar will be focused on explaining, how I became someone who doesn't drink alcohol. How did I do it? What are the tools I used? What is the theory and philosophy about how I was able to not only stop drinking but never crave a single drop? What is the holy grail there? How do I do it? Those webinars, I'll be running them, and then I'll also be giving you a little taster of the taster and the intensive, and we'll be running them every Thursday night. So that's one way of getting into Strive, because for that month you'll be part of the Strive movement, but only for that month, okay? Then going into the intensive, if you pay for the intensive, it is an annual subscription of £600, right? Now, what do you get for that annual subscription? You get to become, for a year, a member of the Strive Community Forum, okay? That means you get access to the check-in category, you get access to help and guidance, you get access to triggers, and you get access to any other category that we decide as a group of strivers that we're going to create in that movement. You become a part of that movement, all right? And then within Strive, within that movement, once you join, you will start to receive a daily assignment, okay, a daily coaching video and a daily assignment that used to be of content that used to be the life-changing experience and finding meaning and purpose through the art of story. Those two experiences are now merged into one with the movement of the Strive Forum. So you get this 1 year of this full-on intensive exposure to the truth about alcohol, raising awareness of that truth about alcohol, and learning how to live your life beyond that as someone who doesn't drink alcohol, okay? The goal of the 1 year subscription is for you to become someone who doesn't drink alcohol permanently. That is the goal, okay? And I'm hoping that people will take the taster and they will like what they see, they'll like what they experience, and they will want to take the dive into the intensive. Your training and your coaching, your videos go on for 4 months. You're getting 4 months worth of daily videos. And beyond that, then we've got another 8 months then to play with, to work together with the moderators, and you'll also be so much more content in there. We're going to have live online meetup groups. We're going to be creating a virtual toolkit that you can use when you're triggered. There's loads of ideas. Everything we think of, the insane value that we're going to come across with all different learning modules, everything will be experienced in that 1 year subscription in the taster. And when the year is up, we'll have a little chat about how we can extend that beyond that, okay, and see what's on the horizon after that. If you want to join the intensive or you want to join the taster, send me an email at thetruthaboutalcohol@gmail.com and we'll get you hooked up. But they're the only ways that we get into the Strive movement, okay? All right, moving on to this week's episode, The Friend. Last week I did a review, didn't I, of Adrian Childs' BBC documentary Drinkers Like Me. And I think I mentioned during that review that Adrian Chiles at some point was really, really struggling with the cognitive dissonance that was playing havoc in his mind around knowing and understanding that his liver was deteriorating because he was drinking too much alcohol, and that it was making him feel really unwell, and it was actually driving up his stress and his anxiety rather than helping him unwind from it, which he originally thought. So he knew that alcohol was bad, okay? But he also knew in his mind, or believed in his mind, that alcohol was very good, that it had helped create an entire social structure that he wasn't willing to walk away from, that he had built up relationships and friendships with people who drank alcohol that were really, really super important to me. And he never mentioned it during the show, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that given his position in the entertainment industry, I imagine alcohol is a big part of that as well. All right. And there was a scene in there where he's really, really struggling with his cognitive dissonance. He's in his house and he's like, he knows he wants to give up drinking, but he doesn't want to give up drinking, but he wants to give up drinking, but he doesn't want to give up drinking. And he decides to invite Frank Skinner around for tea. And if anyone knows, Frank Skinner is a British comedian who many, many, many years ago identified himself as an alcoholic and decided that he was going to stop drinking. All right, and I think he went cold turkey. I don't really know much of Frank's past. But Frank's round there. Adrian's had made him dinner, and the reason Adrian wants Frank round there is because he wants some advice off him. He's talking about his dissonance and he's asking for Frank's advice because Frank is someone who doesn't drink alcohol. And Adrian is looking at him as a bit of a role model, and he's like, come on then, Frank, let me know. How do I do it? How do I become like you? And I think that Frank gave him some very good advice on both sides of the argument of being someone who doesn't drink and someone who does drink, right? I think he really did give him some advice, right? Good advice. But one thing Frank did that I didn't really like, and I won't be alone in what he did, the thinking it wasn't good vibes. And being a comedian, we have to take that into account. And also we don't understand the depth and the intimacy of the relationship that he has with Adrian. But I know that those closest to me, so really, really intimate relationships, I've behaved like this as well, and I haven't liked it and I haven't appreciated it. It was a scene where Adrian says to Frank, I don't know what to do, should I drink or not? And Frank turns around and says, have a pint, go on, have a pint. So right in the midst of Adrian really struggling with this dilemma of whether he should stop drinking or not, okay, really struggling. And let's be honest here, it struggles when you're struggling with am I going to lose my mates, or is my liver going to pack up? All right, you think as a friend you would side on the liver packing up argument, and knowing that as his mate you're still going to be there for him. So you could turn around and say, look Adrian, I'm your mate, and if you stop drinking, I'm going to go to cinema with you, I'm going to go to Starbucks with you, I will be in the pub with you drinking water, I will be alongside you to support you, but I can't help you with your liver, mate. That is better than saying, no, go on, fuck your liver up, because I don't think I'm going to hang around you, you know? I think it was a bad call, all right? And when you're in that space where Adrian is, where you're really suffering from cognitive dissonance, the resistance is at its peak. And the resistance is looking for any excuse for you to drink. And if your friends turn around and tell you to drink, then you're much more likely to. And let's be honest, because you are holding the mirror up in their faces and they can see their own reflection quite clearly for the first time in a long time, and the cognitive dissonance starts seeping into their minds, they will do everything they can to convince you to drink so they don't have to look at this mirror anymore. Because if you return to drinking and drop this stupid notion you want to be someone who doesn't drink alcohol, then that mirror's not in their face anymore, and if they feel more comfortable. So very often it is likely that your friends and your family and stuff will want you to drink alcohol. They will also think that they're helping you out. They'll say things to you like, oh, you're all right, you don't really have a problem, this guy over here has a problem, you know, he's the one who's alcoholic, you're not an alcoholic, which, you know, is another story entirely. The word alcoholic, you know, anyone knows anything about me or is taking the taste or the intensive, it's just a word, it's just a stereotype that's been created to feed alcoholism as an invisible, violent and dominant belief system, in my opinion. Look, at the end of the day, they will want you to drink alcohol, and they will be doing it for a number of reasons. One, it will be very selfish, although they won't realize it subconsciously. Or consciously, they won't realize they're being selfish. And two, they think they're trying to help you out, right? But we need to go back to what a friend is. What is a fucking friend? All right? I'm 43 years of age now. I've got to 43 years of age, and I've never really never sat down and consciously thought about friendship. Right? I've never thought about what values I would like my friends to have. I've never thought about whether I would like female friends or male friends, whether I would like all types of different genders as friends, different colour and cultures as my friend. Like, I haven't even thought about how old they should be, how they should make me feel. Nothing at all about that. I've just bundled through life, and I have, by hook or by crook, created this friendship group. All right, and once you create this friendship group, and you're not in school anymore, you really do think that you're never ever going to be able to make friends anymore. You think that it's the most complicated thing ever. But making friends, actually, and I've learnt this through being someone who doesn't drink alcohol, it isn't as bad as you think it is. It's just the action of trying to make friends that creates the inertia, which feeds a resistance that tells you that it's a real bad move, okay? We need to start thinking about what our life is going to be like when we're someone who doesn't drink alcohol. And we've got to put it on a pedestal. We've got to start focusing on the good, positive aspects of being someone who doesn't drink alcohol. If we sit there moping and groping that being someone who doesn't drink alcohol means we're going to lose all our friends and that's going to be a bad thing, then our subconscious is going to feed the resistance, and it's going to tell us not to stop drinking alcohol. And it would put every iron in every fire that is being used to stoke this new wisdom around the truth about alcohol. So people will leave the truth about alcohol taster. People will leave the truth about alcohol intensive. They'll stop listening to the podcast. They'll stop writing me emails, right? And they will think of any excuse to do that because they are fearful that they're going to be lonely, all right? We've got to stop thinking like that. We've got to start thinking to ourselves, yeah, I can't wait to be someone who doesn't drink alcohol. I am going to, with my new energy, attract the most amazing friends. I'm going to use this as a good experience of shedding some of the friends that don't serve me any good whatsoever in my current relationships, and start strengthening and building on the ones that are really good for me. You know, I just talked to you just now, didn't I, about the new Strive. And I chose a group of people who I believe have gone out of their way to support me. All right? They are people who I want in my friendship group, or I want in my friendship circle. They've gone out of their way to help me out. And I will do anything, because I'm committed like that, to help them out too. But the people who haven't supported me, or haven't shown me any support or any respect, I don't want them in my life. All right? Because I've only got a short window of people that I can actually be intimate with, because I don't have the time to be intimate in large groups of people. So we need to select our friends very, very wisely. And for me, once we get down to the values that we want in our friends and how we want them to behave and what our boundaries are and how we want to be respected by them, we don't want someone, when we're in the throes of anguish, deciding whether or not we want to drink or not, telling us to drink. All right? I don't think that's really helpful in the way that Frank Skinner did it in that documentary, by saying to him, go on, have a drink. All right? I think the best way to do that is to sit down with someone and listen to them, and not try to solve it. Listen to them, okay? And weigh up the pros and cons about whether someone should drink or not, or where, you know, not just say go on, have a drink just because there's some other agenda there. And I actually don't think in Frank Skinner's case there was an agenda as such. I don't think Frank wants Adrian to have a drink, because Frank doesn't drink. It's not going to bother Frank, is it? You know, but I still didn't like the way it played out, and I certainly wouldn't like a friend of mine telling me that. You know, I always remember when I first decided I was going to leave the railway to become a writer, when I'd never written anything before. A really good friend of mine, a real close, intimate friend of mine, turned around and said to me, you're making the biggest mistake ever, and I've read some of your stuff and it's shit. All right? Why did he say that? He was trying to help me out. He was trying to help me out because he thought I was making a big mistake. So he was trying to frighten me into it. But I don't want friends like that. I don't want friends using those tactics. I don't want that kind of energy around me. Okay? So we really need to start sorting this out. If we are struggling, if we are saying to ourselves, I cannot be anonymous with this. No, I want to be anonymous with this non-drinking life because I don't want my friends to know that I'm not drinking, then you really need to seriously question your friendships. If you are continually drinking and relapsing because your friends are coaxing you to drink, you really need to question your friendships, okay? We need to stop thinking that just because we've changed our status and we've become someone who doesn't drink alcohol, that our entire life as it stands, we now need to spring our new life from that foundation. We don't. We need to start afresh, a new whiteboard. What are the friends we want? What's the job we want? Where do we want to live? Who do I want in my relationships? What type of father do I want to be? How do I want to be health-wise? What do I want to be financially? Okay? How do I want to be spiritually? What do I want to be religiously? And go back to basics. As a 43-year-old man, I've got much more power to construct my life right now than I did when it was thrust upon me by society and my parents and fucking rule books when I'm 6, 7 years of age. Right? Let's fucking stop being pussies around this, okay? And being worried and fearful about taking action and worried what my friend's going to say if I tell him that I don't want to drink, he's going to pick on me. Let's fucking grow up a little bit here, okay? Let's do what Jordan Peterson says in Rule 1 of the 12 Rules of Life and Antidote to Chaos and stand up straight with your shoulders back and make a fucking decision and stand by it and be strong about it and be positive about it. Because if you're negative about it, if you start stooping low and miserable about it, you start kind of moping about it, you know, it's fucking going to be shit if I stop drinking alcohol, no one's... Do you know what? The bullies are going to fucking be on you like fucking bees on honey, right? Bears on honey, okay? That's what happens. Very few people come up to me and start picking on me and joking around and poking fun at me because I'm someone who doesn't drink alcohol, because I won't take that shit. And I don't tell them I won't take that shit. Half these people I've never even fucking met. They know by looking at my face and my bodily structure when they say what you do for a living or why don't you want to drink in a pub, and I say I help people drink alcohol, or I don't want to drink alcohol because I don't fucking drink alcohol. They look at they feel my energy, and my energy screams, fuck off. Don't mess with me. This is fucking serious, right? I have increase my status because I no longer drink alcohol, and you won't fucking tear me down. And because I have that energy and I exude it psychologically and biologically, I don't get that much shit off people. And when I do get shit off people, I think to myself, right, how am I going to get this person out of my life? Or when it comes to my parents, you know, or people like that, how am I going to lessen their involvement in my life? Okay, and I know that sounds awful when I say that about my parents. You know, I love you dearly, mum and dad, okay? But just because they gave birth to me, it doesn't mean that I owe them anything. It doesn't mean that my kids owe me anything. If I treat my children appallingly and I'm the worst role model ever, not saying my parents are, by the way, they don't owe me shit, all right? Okay? Just because we're we share the same blood doesn't mean nothing in my book. Nothing. Okay? Friends, family, doesn't mean nothing. The people who fucking do me good, they're my family. And they don't have to have my blood running through their veins. Okay? I feel more connected with strivers than I do with most people in my life. Because we share, we see each other, we hear each other, we're vulnerable with each other, we've experienced each other's shame, we've been in the fucking trenches together, right? We've fought with each other, we've argued with each other, we've hugged each other. Fucking serious. We see each other. There are no masks, all right? Boom. That's it. That's all I got to say. There'll be a little outro after this talking about the intensive and the taster again. Please listen to it. If you've listened to it before, don't listen to it. Turn it off. Take care. Bye.